Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Actually, we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we can recite the verse. Jayo Jayo Sri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are today reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-Lila, chapter 4, verse 123. Verse 123. Please repeat behind me. Na jani radhar preme ache katbal ye bale amare khare sarvada vival. Na jani radhar preme ache katbal ye bale amare khare sarvada vival. Yes. Some of you can recite. Na jani radhar preme ache katbal ye bale amare khare sarvada vival. Na jani radhar preme ache katbal ye bale amare khare sarvada vival. Hare Krishna. Mothers? Na jani radhar preme ache katbal ye bale amare khare sarvada vival. Na jani, I do not know. Radhar of Srimati Radharani. Preme, in the love. Ache, there is. Kata, how much. Bala, strength. Ye, which. Bale, strength. Amare, me. Kare, makes. Sarvada, always. Vival, overwhelmed. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I do not know the strength of Radha's love, with which she always overwhelms me. So this verse doesn't have a purport. I'm reading few previous verses, just a translation, and one of the verses has a very one-line purport. So 118. O Purnamasi, if Lord Hari had not descended in Mathura with Srimati Radharani, this entire creation, and especially Cupid, the demigod of love, would have been useless. The purport? This verse is spoken by Sri Vrinda Devi in Vidagd Madhav, 7.3 of Srila Rupa Goswami. 119-120, I'm reading the translation. Even though Lord Krishna, the abode of all mellows, had previously in this way chewed the essence of the mellows of love, still he was unable to fulfill three desires, although he made efforts to taste them. I shall explain his first desire. Krishna says, I am the primary cause of all rasas. 122. I am the full spiritual truth and am made of full joy, but the love of Srimati Radharani drives me mad. And verse which we just read, I do not know the strength of Radha's love with which she always overwhelms me. Umagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yeda Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Sarijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shannavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So first of all, I am extremely grateful to be here at this holy abode of SriSriRadhaRasbihari and also holy abode Srila Prabhupada Dham, ISKCON Juhu. So I feel very blessed to be just here and also grateful for this opportunity to speak something from Chaitanya Charitamrita this morning. This is quite a high subject matter. In this section, the glory of love of Srimati Radharani is being described. So I seek the blessings of Maharaj, B.V. Bhagavat Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada disciples, and all the assembled Vaishnavas to be able to say something for my purification and for our inspiration to dedicate ourselves more to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. So I was really thinking that this section glorify the love of Srimati Radharani, which is actually the highest topic that can ever be discussed. So, and much beyond my qualification. But I thought if we take shelter of Prabhupada and his purpose, then we can discuss something. So therefore, taking shelter of Prabhupada's purpose, his teachings, I'll try to discuss this subject here. This particular chapter describes the three unfulfilled desires of Lord Krishna. Just to summarize it, you already are studying this chapter, so it must have been covered. Just for continuity, I will briefly summarize those three desires. So, the first desire is Shri Radhaya Pranay Mahima Kidrishovana Eva. What is the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love? Krishna cannot understand, he cannot fully comprehend. So that's the first unfulfilled desire. What is the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love? Second is Shri Radhaya Pranay Mahima Kidrishovana Eva Swadyo yen adbhut madhurima kidrishova madhiya. The second is, what is the amazing sweetness in me? So one unfulfilled desire is related to Srimati Radharani. Second is what is the Adbhut Madhurima, Hare Krishna. Amazing sweetness in me, Krishna is thinking. So Krishna is not able to comprehend his own sweetness that attracts Srimati Radharani, basically. And the third unfulfilled desire is the happiness and the ecstasy Srimati Radharani tastes in me through her love. Basically, it is about the exchange. So, one unfulfilled desire is related to Srimati Radharani, greatness of her love. Second is sweetness in me, Krishna says. And third is the happiness she experiences in tasting this sweetness through her love. So, it's a desire related to connecting both of them, basically. So in this way, these are the three unfulfilled desires. One important thing we learn over here is that one can only taste the Krishna sweetness or the joy of Krishna consciousness by developing some attraction, some love. If there is some affection, then one tastes the activities of bhakti. This is also spoken by Ramanand Rai in the 8th chapter of Adi-Lila. So Ramanand Rai, while describing Prema Bhakti, he gives a very beautiful example to understand the importance of Prema Bhakti. He says, Nano pachara krita pujana marta bandho premneva bhakta hridayam sukha vidrutam sayad yavat shudasti jathare jaratha pipasa tavat sukhaya bhavato nanu bhakshapeye. Very beautiful verse. He says, as long as there is hunger and thirst, yavat shud asti jathare jaratha pipasa, as long as jathar is abdomen, as long as there is hunger and thirst, then varieties of foodstuffs taste very good. So it's the hunger that brings the taste also. As we know, the one thing is just made very nicely, but even if something is very tasty, but I don't have hunger, I cannot taste it. So Krishna consciousness is naturally very tasty, but if you are unable to taste, then we realize that actually there is no hunger, there is no appetite. So when there is a strong hunger, thirst, then all the varieties of the drinks and the food taste very good. So what is that hunger? He says that is the love for Krishna, the affection for Krishna. So that activities of bhakti become tasteful when there is prema. And then the various activities one actually relishes executing devotional service. So just like to give an example, we prepare lemon juice in the breakfast. Hare Krishna. So, so we prepare a variety of, we prepare lemon juice in the breakfast often, but the same lemon juice, lemonade I am referring here, it tastes very sweet on Dwadashi. So, or extraordinary taste. Many devotees say, or especially even more when you do Nirjal Ekadashi, that the taste of the lemon water, lemonade becomes extremely tasty or extremely excellent. So in this way, when there is hunger and thirst, the food and the drinks, they taste very nice, basically. So that example is being given over here. Therefore, Krishna has amazing sweetness, and Srimati Radharani relishes that sweetness to the highest degree because she possesses the highest love. Okay, so this verse is talking, what is the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love? And His Holiness Bhakti Bharat Bhagat Maharaj yesterday mentioned the incident how one lady disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she asked that how we can develop the affection like that of queens of Dwarka and the gopis towards Krishna. And Prabhupada replied by preaching Krishna consciousness. Bhurida, Maharaj quoted that word, Bhurida. So that was actually amazing. Again, very high subject matter, but Prabhupada made it so accessible, so relatable to us. How we can approach such a high subject matter from our level. And all the devotees shared such beautiful realization yesterday on Sankirtan, starting with his Bhajari Prabhu. So I just want to say that yesterday's class was such a beautiful churning. I savored each and every word. I relished each and every word from yesterday's class. And his guest Mukund Madhav Prabhu, especially, he mentioned about the Prabhupada books being kept in the IIT Bombay library. And Mukund Madhav Prabhu mentioned that he, in 1988, he went to the library and read some books. Exactly 10 years later, in 1998, I went to the IIT library and I picked up Prabhupada book. in my free period, in my free time, it was the break period, I went to the IIT Central Library. But somehow I picked up Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I started reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. And somehow I had met the devotees, but I was just standing one round, two round. But then I read Chaitanya Charitamrita. I felt, some attraction after reading this book. So then I made a habit of going during my free time to IIT Central Library and reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. And you can see the mercy of Prabhupada. Now here I am sitting today giving class on Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is, I wanted to just give that, testimony of the, power of Prabhupada books being kept in library, and I'm sure many, many more, devotees benefited because the books are there. So, yeah. So coming back to this verse and understanding the love of Srimati Radharani, I would like to also refer one amazing purport of Srila Prabhupada in second canto, chapter 3, verse 23. If you have to remember, 2323. Canto 2, chapter 3, verse 23. So 2323 describes, Prabhupada gives in the very beginning of second canto, he describes how we can understand and appreciate the love of Srimati Radharani in the very beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So again, making this highly elevated subject matter very relatable and accessible to all of us. So I would like to read that purport, the verse translation and the purport. Maybe if you can open it. Canto 2, chapter 3, verse 23. So this verse describes Shukadeva Goswami speaking, Jivan shavo bhagavatangri renum na jatu martyo bhilabheta yastu Shri Vishnu padya manujastu lasya shvasan shavo yastu na veda gandham. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. So I am reading certain parts of Prabhupada purports over here. Prabhupada says, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. Now Prabhupada actually builds this purport very nicely. If you go through the flow of the purport, this purport is about a person who has not received the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees. That person is like dead while living, living dead. So, and Prabhupada very beautifully develops. He says, Maharaj Rahugana inquired from the great saint Jad Bharat as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of a Paramhamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows, 5.12.12. Rahugane tat tapasana yati nache jaya nirvapanadgrahadva na chandasana eva jalagni suryer vina mahatpadarajobhishekam. And then Prabhupada further describes, as I said, I am reading certain sections. in other words, Prabhupada says, this verse also describes the perfection of life is attained by taking the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees on one's head. So, Prabhupada further elaborates, in other words, Lord Shri Krishna is the property of his pure unconditional devotees, and as such only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Then Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bharatuhu Padakamalayur Das Das Anudasaha, or the most obedient servant of the Lord, who maintains the Gopi damsel at Vrindavan. A pure devotee therefore never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants, and thus the Lord become pleased. Now again, see, as I said, how Prabhupada develops his purport so beautifully. He describes the importance of being servant of the servant, and Lord Chaitanya has moved in line with that, and therefore we need to please the servants of the Lord. And Prabhupada says, in Vrindavan, now Prabhupada takes the discussion to Vrindavan, purport to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. And see how Prabhupada beautifully describes the tattva of Srimati Radharani in such sweet and profound words. Srimati Radharani is the tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. Again, here Prabhupada is making that very easily accessible. Prabhupada, this is something which is very high, but Prabhupada makes it very easily understandable and accessible, saying that the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees, and once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is therefore, one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than the mercy of the Lord directly. And by once doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So, in this way, herein Prabhupada glorifies the love of Srimati Radharani and tells us that how only by becoming servant of the Lord's devotees can we actually appreciate and approach that love and approach the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So I will like to briefly speak upon this subject matter. As I said, how Prabhupada is giving us access, easy access to Srimati Radharani's mercy by instructing us to be the servant of the Lord's devotees. So one such, just like Lord Chaitanya aspired to be Gopi Bharatuhu Padakamalayur Das Das Anudasaha, there is another devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita who prayed to be the servant of the servant. Explicitly, the word Das, Das, Anudas is used. Can someone make a guess? Oh, Advaitacharya, yes, he wants to be servant of the Chaitanya Radha Samui, Chaitanya Radha Samui, Thar Dase Radhas. Advaitacharya has prayed. Another devotee has prayed. Yes. Maharaj Pratap Rudra. He prayed for, the word used is Das Anudas over there. Raja kahe ami tumar dasir anudas, bhrit tera bhritte karo ehi mora ash. I am the servant of a servant. I hope, I pray that you accept me as the servant of a servant. So I would like to briefly speak upon this mood of Maharaj Pratap Rudra and finally conclude with where Maharaj began yesterday, Bhurida. Bhurida, where this comes, that episode. So, yeah. So Maharaj Pratap Rudra, he hears about the glory of Lord Chaitanya when he came to Jagannath Puri on the desire of his mother. And he developed, by hearing from others, he developed the desire to have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And therefore he requested Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that, can you arrange my audience with the Lord? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he said, going to be very difficult already. But anyway, Lord is not here for the time being, he has gone on South India. So there was a conversation between the two of them. When he returns back, then I will try. So Lord Chaitanya, so he said it's going to be difficult, but I will still try. And or actually, after Lord Chaitanya returned, and even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya proposed to Lord Chaitanya, immediately Lord Chaitanya rejected that proposal. And that too, in a way, it's not that Lord Chaitanya said, oh, I won't be able to meet or something. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya proposed, please meet the king, Lord Chaitanya blocked his ear holes. Karane hast diya Prabhu smare Narayan. He spoke Narayan, Narayan. As if something, this is, just imagine, like something very impure has taken place, inauspicious has taken place. Then you remember Narayan, Narayan. As soon as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya proposed, he blocked his ear holes and said Narayan, Narayan. And said, why you make such an inappropriate proposal? So like Lord Chaitanya rejected in a way that he should never bring the subject matter again. Like in a very strong, it's a very strong rejection, not a mild rejection. So this comes to be known to Maharaj Prataparudra, that Lord Chaitanya has outrightly refused a request for the meeting. Now, at the same time, Ramanand Rai has been invited by Lord Chaitanya to come and stay. And Ramanand Rai said, I will settle a few things and then I will come. And when Ramanand Rai approaches the king and says, Lord Chaitanya has invited me to Jagannath Puri to be with him. Now imagine, king is not getting one meeting, but his governor, who is subordinate is getting upright invitation to be in Jagannath Puri with the Lord always. So it is naturally the king, Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple Vishakha Devi ki Jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshan Hanuman ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So naturally the envy could arise in the heart, actually. Or this is so unjust. I'm not getting one meeting, but my governor is getting the upfront invitation. But as soon as Maharaj Prataparudra hears the name of Lord Chaitanya, that he has invited me to be with him, he immediately gets up from his throne and comes and embraces the king. And he says, Tomara ye vartan tumi khao se vartan nischinta hayya bhaj Chaitanya charan. He said, oh, Lord Chaitanya has called you to serve him. You take your full salary as pension. So now your salary continues, but no service. Just imagine. So therefore, without any worries for financial maintenance of our family, without absolutely any worries, you just go and serve the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So this was very exemplary on behalf of king. And now Lord Chaitanya has actually refused the audience to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Ramanand Rai goes and narrates this incident to Lord Chaitanya. And he says, after describing the incident, Ramanand Rai says, Ye tahar prema arati dekhilu to mate, tar ek prema lish nahi ka amate. The eagerness and the intensity of love which the king has for you, I do not possess a fraction of that. This is what Ramanand Rai says to the Lord. And now hearing this, Lord Chaitanya's heart softened. How he facilitated and supported the service of Ramanand Rai. And that actually is an important aspect of devotee care also. Prabhupada writes in purport of 7.5.12 that a devotee should not be proud of one's service, rather should appreciate and support the service of other devotees. So many devotees, they need, some kind of support so they can continue to serve and expand their service. So here we see an example of nice devotee care by one devotee towards another devotee. He said, if you leave the, he didn't say if you leave now, no pension. Rather, he says take double pension. Pension usually half the salary. You take double pension means full salary as pension and serve Lord Chaitanya. So, such a wonderful support he created so that he can serve the Lord. So, this is, as I said, important aspect of devotee care. A nice example we get. So, Ramananda Rai says, I don't have a fraction of love what the king possesses. And Lord Chaitanya replies so beautifully to this. He says, Prabhu kahe tumi Krishna bhakta pradhan, toma ke ye priti kare sei bhagyavan. He says, Lord Chaitanya says, you are a topmost devotee, Ramananda Rai. You are a great devotee, topmost devotee, bhakta pradhan. Anyone who loves you is very fortunate. Toma ke ye et priti haila rajar, segune Krishna tare kare angikar. So he says, because he has developed such love for you, since you are a great devotee, Krishna will accept him. And Prabhupada writes, Lord Chaitanya has outrightly rejected, and now he is saying Krishna will accept him. He is none other than Krishna. Or in other words, I will accept him. So here, it doesn't happen so soon. Still there will be, king has to still have to work hard towards that. And it won't be so direct. But yes, ultimately, I will accept him. Lord Chaitanya predicts. But here we learn something very nice. If we assist some devotees, some exalted devotees in their service to Krishna, then Krishna is extremely pleased. So we'll also see, anyone who actually served Prabhupada, assisted him to spread Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna, although many of them, they left Krishna consciousness, they may not be very actively in the movement, but Krishna and Prabhupada, they brought back, those who had done valuable service, brought most of them or all of them back into Krishna consciousness, and the departure was very glorious. We hear so many such stories. So in this way, one who assists, shows affection toward the great devotee, that person becomes very fortunate. This is, Prabhupada highlights that point over here. Okay, so now Lord Chaitanya has actually granted the request, because king took the position of servant of the servant. Now, indirectly he has granted. Okay, so the king doesn't, so the king again comes to Sarma Bhattacharya and says, is there any chance of me getting interview with the Lord? Sarma Bhattacharya said, absolutely not. And the king, you see the king's approach. The king doesn't give up. That's one good quality. The king makes a very beautiful request. He says, Prabhura nikate yache yat bhaktagan mor lagi tansa bare kariha nivedan tansa bare prasade pae Shri Prabhura pae tar kripa vina mora rajya nahi bhai. So he says, can you please request those who are very close to the Lord, like Nityananda Prabhu, Sarup Damodar Goswami, if they can submit my application, it goes from their side, if they can plead, then it will be difficult for Lord Chaitanya to reject that application, mercy application. So please request the intimate associates of Lord to make another plea, re-appeal on my behalf. And actually, and the leader of all the Vaishnavas, Nityanand Prabhu, he submits the application. He said, actually the king also expresses the determination that if I do not attain Lord Chaitanya's mercy, what is the use? Kiva Rajya, Kiva Deha, Sab Akaran. What is the use of this kingdom? What is the use of my wealth? I will just, leave everything. I will just give up everything and become a bhikari, become a mendicant. So Nityanand Prabhu submits the application this time. And Lord Chaitanya becomes mellow. He actually had become a mellow earlier only, hearing Ramanand Rai. But this time he says, so you all want me to go and meet the king, and so that everyone will criticize me also? Because socially, that point of time, the sannyasi meeting a king was not appreciated. Now if sannyasi meets a prime minister, president, it's a socially acceptable, and also we look forward. Even Prabhupada requested. But it's a social context. During that time, people will not appreciate a sannyasi meeting a king who is in general considered a Vishay. So Lord Chaitanya says, so do you want me to go and meet the king and be criticized by people in general? Nityanand Prabhu says, okay, we don't want to go against your desire. You can take some intermediate path. Give some mercy to king so that he, retains his life. He doesn't retire as a king and become a mendicant, because we need a good king who is actually a Rajrishi. So Lord Chaitanya says, so what do you all suggest? What is your proposal? Maybe we can send your outer cloth, your Bahirvas, Uttari, one of Uttari we can send to the king. And Lord Chaitanya said, okay, you can do whatever you think is appropriate. He kind of consented. And then the king was given the Uttari, the outer garment of Lord. It's mentioned, now just imagine if you want to have an audience with a very exalted person, and he said, okay, what you can do is, the person is not available, you can come and just see his coat, of his wear, and then be happy, return back. So he's wanting the audience with the Lord, but he's only getting outer garment, a cloth of the Lord. That was given to him. But the king consciousness was, because this is garment of the Lord, Tadiya, he became so happy to receive that he put it on his head, and he started worshipping that garment. Vastrapaya Raja Rahaila Anandita Man Prabhu Rupa Kari Kare Vastrera Pujan, as if he has gained the audience of the Lord. That's how he responded. Again, very exemplary response. And Prabhupada says, the garment of the Lord is also the Lord. The garment of the Lord is also the Lord, because it's not different, absolute platform. So, in this way, and then Ramanand Rai arranges another mercy installment. So, the king receives mercy of Lord Chaitanya in small installments, actually. The next installment was arranged by Ramanand Rai, where he says, we will bring the king's son to you. And if you give the mercy to the son represents the father. So the king will receive the mercy. And actually Lord Chaitanya saw the king's son, and he was dressed in bright yellow garment. He had a dark complexion. Lord Chaitanya remembered Shyam Sundar, and he embraced king's son. King's son became associate of the Lord. But Pratap Rudra was not getting the audience. So finally, when the king's son went back, and the king embraced his son, when he embraced his son, he felt that I have received the embrace of Lord Chaitanya. So you see, this is the importance of disciplic succession. Right? Here we see that how one who is blessed by Lord Chaitanya, by embracing, he also feels the same embrace. Sometimes, at times we may desire that can I have the direct contact with the Lord, direct contact with my spiritual master, or a close contact. But Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita describes that remote contact with the Lord and Guru is as good as close contact. Because of parampara, the mercy flows. This point is several times described, as we see in the case of king also. In fact, the remote contact, one should not consider it the remote. It's close contact itself. Any contact with the Lord is equally glorious. So, king becomes very joyful on embracing his son. And finally, when the time of Rath Yatra comes, and the king is doing the menial service to Lord Jagannath, Uttamaya Raja Kare Tuchya Sevan Adeva Jagannathera Kripara Bhajan. Because the king is so exalted, but he was rendering menial service, therefore he became the recipient of mercy of Lord Jagannath. Mahaprabhu Sukha Paila Se Seva Dekhite, Mahaprabhura Kripa Haila Se Seva Haite. Mahaprabhu became so happy to see that the king is, such a menial servant, although he's so exalted, but he's rendering such a menial service. And then Lord Chaitanya decided that now I will give my complete mercy. Otherwise, he was getting some installments. But now Lord Chaitanya decided to give his complete mercy. And therefore, while dancing in Rath Yatra, often it's mentioned that in ecstasy, Lord Chaitanya would often faint. He would fall somewhere. So now what happens? And Nityanand Prabhu would be always on his side to hold him. Nityanand Prabhu उनको धारण करते थे. जैसे like Ananta Shesha, he does, he उनको धारण करते हैं भगवान को. Similarly, Nityanand Prabhu always would hold Lord Chaitanya when he was about to faint in ecstasy. So now what happened? Nityanand Prabhu was far away. Lord Chaitanya swooned in ecstasy and fell directly in front of Prataprudra, where he supported. He held him in his lap, and he was feeling so ecstatic. And as soon as Lord Chaitanya saw the king, he said, "Chi chi, oh abominable, Vishaira Sparsha Haila Amar. I have been touched by a materialistic person." And Prataprudra Maharaj became very, he was scared, actually, fearful that I have done some offense to the Lord. I have touched him. But Sarma Bhattacharya says, this is only external. He was not granting you audience. Now he is coming to you. You wanted to go to him, but now the tables have turned. On his own will, the Lord has actually come to show you mercy. Only to teach, make a lesson for others, he is making this show. Chi Chi is saying, but actually he is so pleased. Now he has come on his own to give you his audience, to give his mercy. Don't go by externals. So understand the situation by hearing. So the real seeing is through the ears. Don't see externals. Lord Chaitanya gives this very nice lesson. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gives this nice lesson. So finally, there is a Balagandi Bhoga, and Lord Chaitanya enters the nearby Jagannath Vallabh garden. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, now is the time you remove your kingly attire, wear dhoti kurta, be in a Vaishnava attire, and go and, Lord Chaitanya is tired, he is resting under a tree, go and recite the Jayati Te Dikam verses, the verses of Gopi Geet. And he follows the advice of the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He takes the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, and then he gathers the courage, because Lord Chaitanya has just said chi chi, because he is scared also. He has assurance, but there is a fear in the heart because of the response he just seen of Lord Chaitanya. So he takes a courage by the inspiration of other devotees, and goes and starting massaging the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya while he was resting in Jagannath Vallabh garden. And Jayati Te Dikam, he started reciting these verses, and when he came to the verse, Tav Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Bhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadattatam Bhuvi Ganantiye Bhurida Jana. Lord Chaitanya became so ecstatic. there was no limit to there was upsurge of ecstasy. Bhurida, and he immediately got up. He was tired and lying down. He got up and embraced the king. Bhurida bali kare alingan, iho nahi jane, iho hai kaun jan. He's saying, Bhurida, you are most magnanimous, you are most magnanimous. And he said, he doesn't know whom he is embracing. He knows also, but externally, Lord Chaitanya doesn't know. He is in the dress of a Vaishnava. He is in the dress of Vaishnava, and therefore he is embracing him, repeatedly embracing him. And Lord Chaitanya says, you have given me most valuable jewels. He considered these verses glorification of the Lord as most precious jewels. Tumi more dile bahu amulya ratan, more kichu dite nahi dilu alingan. You gave me such valuable jewels, I cannot repay. What do I give to you in return? I therefore give my embrace. I give my alingan. So that is what the king wanted. And that's the only thing which is valuable, Lord's mercy, which is coming in the form of his embrace. And then the highest climax comes when Lord Chaitanya asks him, who are you? Now he can't say lie before the absolute truth. You cannot speak lie. When he says, who are you? What will he say? He has to reveal his identity. So therefore, Maharaj Prataprudra, what does he say? Raja kahe ami tomar dasera nudas, bhrit tera bhrit kar ehi mora ash. He says, I am just an insignificant servant of your servant. My hope, my desire, my prayer is that you may accept me as such. You see how he introduces himself not from his, external role, but his eternal identity as servant of the servant. And Lord Chaitanya is so pleased. So in this way, Maharaj Prataprudra becomes a recipient of Lord Chaitanya's complete mercy by being in the mood of servant of the Lord Jagannath and servant of his devotees. And that's how Prabhupada says, this is how we can actually understand, appreciate and approach the love of Srimati Radharani, which is Lord Krishna says, even I cannot understand. Na jani radhar prem ache katbal. What is the significance, what is the power of Srimati Radharani's love? I cannot understand. Lord Chaitanya in this way, he recites this verse. But Prabhupada shows us the way to approach this subject matter from this perspective. By being servant of the servant, we can actually very easily obtain the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So I would just like to end by narrating one small story narrated by Prabhupada's disciple, Mother Tungabhadra Devi Dasi, which took place here at Juhu. So I like to narrate this story in context of this topic. So Mother Tungabhadra Devi Dasi is saying, among many other things, Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples how to worship. So among many other things, Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples, one of such things was how to worship the deity forms of Lord Krishna and his eternal consort Srimati Radharani. For instance, he told us that we should dress the deities very opulently, which meant that we had to make special garments for them. And Radharasbihari's garments are unmatchable, so opulent. So he told us that we should dress the deities very opulently and we have to make a nice garment, special garment for them. I was in Bombay, Juhu in 1972 when I made my first attempt at sewing the outfits for SriSriRadhaRasbihari. When Prabhupada walked into the temple one day to see the deities, he smiled broadly. Even as he was prostrating himself before Radha and Krishna, he was offering a dandavat, he looked up at them repeatedly. While offering obeisance, Prabhupada turned his head and took darshan. He looked up at them repeatedly and smiled. Then he arose and he said to me, "Thank you very much. Make thousands of outfits like this." Just imagine, in 1972, when there were hardly any resources, temple construction was going on. Prabhupada never, Prabhupada said, I can never think small. In those days, he said, make thousands of such outfits, and then, make thousands of such outfits like this, and always make Radharani more beautiful than Krishna. Then Krishna will never leave. So again, Prabhupada had a very special relationship with Radharasbihari and Srimati Radharani. His father in his childhood always served the sadhus and prayed, asked them to bless that may he be a devotee or servant of Srimati Radharani. So in this way, Prabhupada's example, his instruction actually is guiding us on this path. And we can, especially in this month, we can please him by following the instruction of distributing his books. And remaining time of the year, we can nourish ourselves by reading his book. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. I'd like to conclude this class over here and request the senior devotees to please give me a comment. If there is some mistake on my part, please correct me also. Yes, please take the mic, Maharaj.
Raj Bhoga had success because he persevered in his desire to serve the Lord. So speak something about that to the young devotees so they know by perseverance they will make advancement.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj has pointed out that how he persevered in his desire. He did not easily give up. Persevered in his desire to obtain the mercy of the Lord, and was not disappointed or discouraged actually. So maybe Maharaj, you can. I would like you to, if you can enlighten us or other exalted devotees. I actually spoke a lot. I consider that also my impudence. But I seek apologies and your mercy.
We see that sometimes devotees, because they don't have proper guidance, they lose faith. They lose they lose their way. But this example of Maharaj is a perfect example. He got rejected at first. Then his son got the mercy. Then Advaita said again, no, impossible. Then he went to Nityananda Prabhu. Hina Nitai Vina Bai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai.
Yes.
If you want to get Sriman Mahaprabhu, if you want to get Radha Krishna, you have to go to Nityananda. Yeah. This is Narottam. Narottam is revealing this, It's very difficult to go to Srimati Radharani and Krishna direct. But to Nityananda Prabhu, it's very, very easy. Easier than this. Nityananda gives his mercy to everyone who comes. Everyone. And if Nityananda accepts you, Mahaprabhu is yours. Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna himself. Remember that. Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna. So by this, it's very easily to get to Srimati Radharani in the near future. So that's enough.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for reminding us. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hanuman Prabhu wants to say something. Ramru Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. When Yamuna Mataji and Madhuri Mataji, they all wanted to make the deity of Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan. So they asked Srila Prabhupada how the deity should look like. Then Srila Prabhupada got up and put a pose of Srimad Radharani dancing. Then he told, Srimad Radharani is always dancing. If she stops dancing, the whole world will be put into ruination.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing that.
One more thing, we make so many dresses in RadhaRasbihariTemple, we don't have space to keep them now.
A positive problem.
Yeah. I have a question. I always wonder when I read this pastime, when we see Bhagavatam and Ramayana also, there is always instances of great sages and sannyasis like Narad Muni, always going to Yudhishthira Maharaj's house and associating. Then it is given in Bhagavatam and Brihad Bhagavatam that all these great sages, they used to hang around the palace of Yudhishthira Maharaj. so that they can get a glimpse of Krishna, thinking that Krishna is there. So it is never prohibited the sannyasis meeting the kings. It's always there. But why Mahaprabhu so much resisted? What he wants to set an example.
Okay, Hare Krishna. I would like to request senior devotees if you would like to share something. That Prabhu's question is already clear. Yes, please, Mother.
Prevalent. It was sages and rishis. Huh? And because Parasuram, he killed all the Kshatriyas, the Brahmin wives had to marry Kshatriya. The Brahmin males had to marry Kshatriya queens and princesses. So the whole Kshatriya lineage went up, up, up. Huh? So basically in those days, it was just rishis, yogi, Raja rishis, yogis, and sages, like Visvamrita, like Vasista. They were gurus of the kings and the king's family, like that. So you can
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. That's good answer, yeah. Other devotee would like to share something? Yes, Hanuman.
हरे कृष्ण। जब श्रील प्रभुपाद जी छोटे बच्चे थे तब उनके पिताजी साधु लोगों को घर में बुलाकर उनके लिए आशीर्वाद की उनसे इच्छा करते थे। और वैसे प्रभुपाद जी को जन्म से ही साधुजनों का आशीर्वाद प्राप्त हुआ और इस प्रकार से भगवान श्री कृष्ण की उनके ऊपर असीम कृपा हुई, जिनके कारण उन्होंने सारे जगत में कृष्ण भक्ति का प्रचार किया। भक्त जन झोले, भक्त जन जल, भक्त भुक्त अवशेष, तीनों महाबल। तो भक्त प्रसन्न होने से प्रभु निश्चित रूप से कृपा करते हैं। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Other devotees like to comment, share. Maharaj would like to comment or correct me in some way.
One time,
Yeah, just on. You can increase the volume, someone. Look.
Hare, Hare,
Yeah, increasing the volume of the mic.
Hare. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada was in Venezuela, Caracas, I think it's the capital. So one devotee was quite worried. He was following everything nicely. And then he was worried that what if he doesn't remember Krishna at the time of leaving the body, which is a good anxiety. Yeah. So he was in so much an anxiety and stress about it. And then another senior devotee told him, approach Srila Prabhupada. Okay. And then when the inquiry went to Srila Prabhupada directly from this devotee, eventually the devotee came to the conclusion, Srila Prabhupada, I don't know Krishna, I don't know Lord Chaitanya, I don't even know Lord Nityananda. But if I remember you at the time of leaving his body, will I go to Krishna? Then Srila Prabhupada bowed his head down in very great humility, and he just mentioned one word, and he said, yes. And that's our connect. That's our chief connection.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna.
Nice class, Prabhu.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted just little things because I'm translating from here and there, so some things come to my mind about why is Radha's love made Krishna's crazy, mad, as the verse you told first, the first verse you told. Why? It's a question of intensity. Krishna has all qualities, but in some parts, some things, Radha is more. It supersedes Krishna, just like in separation mood. Krishna has some separation when he is aloof, far away from Radha, is having this separation. But wow, what to speak of Radha? It is said that the separation mood is so intense. It is just like the suffering is so intense that it is like if you put some lemon juice on an open wound. Imagine what it is. It is like this. It is like poison of a black snake. It is very intense. The suffering is very intense. But at the same time, there is a nectar of love which is there. But it is just to show that this love is intensified so much, much more than Krishna. That's why Krishna is, completely amazed in front of Srimati Radharani's love. The gopis, they said to Krishna, when they want to protect Radha, they say, her love is a constant flow of nectars, but your love is like the water on the sand. What the water is doing in the sand? Going in 1 second. Your love is like this. It does not last. But my Swamini looks how it is. In this way, intensity of love is much greater in Radharani. That is what is made Krishna's mad. What is that? What is his love I do not even have? So in one way, Krishna is vanquished by love, by prem. Prem is stronger and higher than God himself. In this way, this is the extraordinary story of Mahaprabhu, who want to show this, that this love is so intense, and he showed this intensity of prem, particularly by the hand of his life, Mahaprabhu. He wanted to show this. In this way, just to explain this strange, that Krishna is making mad by saying Radha's love.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I think we can end over here. It's already quite time. So yeah, I can talk to you personally. We'll end the class over here. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Nityanand Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.